All righty. First of all, this is going to be recorded. We're going to provide links to the recording as well as links to the presentation. And I want to, first of all, say thank you to everyone. And you should be able to see my slide deck now, Syntex Taxonomy Tagger First Look. And that's what we're going to start with, ladies and gentlemen. Again, thanks to everybody for taking time today. I hope this will be very, very informative. I think this is a major, major breakthrough, for SharePoint. Our agenda today, and let's see if I can visualize this properly. Agenda today, we're going to do some introductions of our presenters. And Ian's going to talk a little bit about the evolution of the Syntex Taxonomy Tagger, why it matters. Shreya going to give a great technical overview and demonstration. And I'm going to give you some examples of the Taxonomy Tagger in action. And when I say it's easy as 1, 2, 3, it is easy as 1, 2, 3. And we'll have a little bit of a Q&A. My name's Ross Lair. I'm the CEO of One Taxonomies. Our company has been building pre-built curated taxonomies for a long time, over 20 years. And again, thanks to everybody for joining. Ian.
Hi, everybody. Ian Story. I work at Microsoft, and I lead the product team for Microsoft Syntex, SharePoint Syntex, prior to the latest rebrand that we did. Been in and around this industry for 25 long years. I started as a customer, a company called Warehouser. Lots and lots of work in and around tagging documents, managing documents, engineering firm. Then 2 banks, Washington Mutual and JP Morgan Chase. Some time at IBM, and now here at Microsoft, all around content management using SharePoint and FileNet and OpenText and a bunch of these different products in my career. So thrilled to be here, and like Ross noted, I think we've got something really special that's going to help folks better manage and tag their content. Over to Shreya.
Hey, hi everyone. I'm Shreya and I'm a product manager here at Microsoft Syntex. I've been in Microsoft for close to around 2 years, and the last 2 years I've been working in Syntex itself. So, how can we manage content with AI, make content discoverable and classify content better? I've been working in this space. So I'm super excited to talk about Taxonomy Tagger, a feature that we released very recently. And, Ian, Ross and myself, we are really thrilled to learn from you, get your feedback, and just see the adoption of this feature ticking up. That's it. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Ian. Thank you, Shreya. And today we're going to start with just a little bit of an explanation of what the heck taxonomies are. I think everybody on this call understands what they are, but we have to explain it to other people that have no idea what they are. And if I ask a group of people, 100 people in a room, and I ask them, everybody that knows what a taxonomy is, raise your hand. Not too many hands go up. But then I'll ask the folks, everybody that has used Amazon.com, raise your hand. Then we get everybody's hands going up. And I say to the folks, as long as you've been using Amazon, you've been using taxonomies. When you do a search for shoes, get 550,000 results in Amazon, but on the left-hand side of the screen are taxonomies. Taxonomy of size, I want a size 11. Taxonomy of colors, I want black. Type of shoe, I want a men's dress shoe. Taxonomy of brands, I want Allen Edmonds. Taxonomy of price, about $150. 550,000 results, narrowed down to the 5 that are relevant for me. As long as you've been using Amazon, you've been using taxonomies. It enables a taxonomy-driven faceted search. Think about it, 20 years ago, 25 years ago, when Amazon was, setting up their warehouse, they had these stacks of shoes and computers and televisions. They said, how are people ever going to find, the right one? And then they said, well, we'll set up these taxonomies. We'll tag every box of shoes with the size, a color. They had to manually do this. And then they'll be able to find them, in our search. So what we're going to show today is going to be something a little bit easier. But simplifying taxonomies a little bit further, taxonomies are the data model for unstructured text. And then I'm going to say to everybody on this call, there's no such thing as unstructured text. It doesn't exist. And if I put one of your company brochures on the table, if I put a Wall Street Journal article on the desk, everybody say, hey, 2 perfect examples of unstructured text. And I'd say to everybody on the call, we can all read the company brochure. We understand it perfectly. We can all read the Wall Street Journal article. It's not unstructured text for the human brain. So make a small modification to this first statement. Taxonomies are the data model for unstructured text that we can use in computer applications like SharePoint, like the Taxonomy Tagger, to provide a model for the Taxonomy Tagger to use that replicates how the human brain organizes information. Implicit taxonomies are how the human brain organizes information. These implicit taxonomies have been developed ever since the day we were born. I have a 5-year-old granddaughter. The first terms she knew were the terms wet and dry. The terms hungry, my stomach is full. She didn't put words to those concepts, but from the day she was born, started organizing information. She's 5 years old now. She knows there's a top level term of food, a narrower term fruit, apples, oranges, bananas, narrower term of food, baked goods, cookies, brownies. She organized that domain of knowledge, food, into logical, broader, narrower terms. Do the same thing with geography, continents, countries, states, cities, so on and so forth. This is how we organize information. The explicit taxonomies we're going to be looking at that are used in SharePoint, Taxonomy Tagger, are simply representations of how the human brain and enterprises organize information. And these explicit taxonomies are used with SharePoint to improve findability. Really a major breakthrough what they've done here. Ian, to you.
Yeah, so we've been on this journey with Microsoft Syntex, formerly SharePoint Syntex, for 3 years this month that we GA'd the product at Ignite 3 years ago. And we started with allowing you to build these kind of complicated models that were trained on a specific document, and we're really, really good at finding specific values in the document and extracting that and classifying those documents and so forth. And that's still one of the core technologies that Syntex provides today, and we tried really hard to make that easy and approachable for folks. But what we realized over time was that was, in many cases, kind of like, just overkill for folks, that you needed an easier way to, tag and organize your information. So the next thing we did is we brought out pre-built models. And pre-built models, we basically built them for you. So we have a pre-built model for invoices and a pre-built model for contracts and a pre-built model for receipts that have been trained on thousands and thousands, in some cases millions of these documents, and just automatically understand what an invoice is, automatically understand what a receipt is, and where to go to get the total and where to go to get the date and so forth. And they're trained regardless of the type of invoice or the type of receipt. They're trained to go understand those and find them and extract metadata and so forth. But even with the pre-built models and the custom models, we still wanted to come up with something that was easier for folks, something that would be easier for you to just go in, turn it on a library, and then get value right away with it, helping you organize your content, make it easier to find. And that's where the team came up with this idea of using the taxonomy that you've already got in SharePoint, or that maybe you don't already have and you get from a company like our partners here at Wand, and taking that taxonomy and applying it to your documents, right? And so a really simple example that I use when I explain this, and you're going to see many more examples here in Ross and Shreya's demos, but a really simple example for this is to think about the office locations that Microsoft has. Back to kind of the geography example that Ross gave. So we have locations all around the world and lots of different countries and lots of different states, lots of different cities within those. And, if we've got a library full of documents about our different locations, one of the most important things for us is to tag them by each location. Maybe it's like the floor plan for each location, or maybe it's the evacuation procedure for each location. And we need to know, hey, does this apply to our office in Redmond, Washington? Or does it apply to our office in Redmond, Oregon? Or does it apply to our office in San Diego, California, or what have you, right? And so we're able to take the taxonomy tagger, which under the covers looks at the document like a human would, figures out kind of what the summary of that document is, and then looks at your taxonomy and says, hey, do we have anything for Redmond, Washington? Oh, that's a match. Let's tag it with Redmond, Washington. Do we have anything for the state of Washington? Yep, we do in our taxonomy, so let's tag it with that. And then once it's been tagged, we make it really easy for you to search, for you to filter, for you to take action on the documents based on the tags. Maybe, for instance, you want to put an alert on a document library that tells you anytime a new document gets uploaded that's tagged with the words Redmond, Washington, or anytime a new document is uploaded that's tagged with marketing or with sales or with a particular customer's name. Maybe you do a lot of work for a customer called Contoso, and you want to know every time somebody uploads a document, if it's tagged with Contoso, send me an alert. And so these are the kinds of things that taxonomy tagging enables. We've spent well over a year building out the capabilities, testing this, and so forth, and we've made it generally available just in the last few weeks. And it's available to everyone on this call in Microsoft 365 and Office 365. If you have basically SharePoint running in the cloud, sadly, we don't support this on-prem because it requires a lot of AI processing of the documents to understand this, but any of the cloud versions of SharePoint, whether you have Office 365 or Microsoft 365, your admin team or you as an admin can go turn this feature on inside of your environment. You don't have to buy a license from Microsoft to get this beyond what you have in your base Microsoft 365 or Office 365. And it's really straightforward to turn on. You turn on your Azure subscription, and then each time we tag a document, there's a very small cents charge, right? Just pennies. If you think about how long it would take to have a human being sit down, look at the document, and type in this information, even in the lowest cost offshore location, you're not going to be able to tag your documents for 5 cents per document. And so this is a great way to take a pile of documents that maybe are a little hard to sift through and find what you're looking for, and make them a nice organized stack of documents inside your document library. So we're really excited to take you through all the capabilities here of the Taxonomy Tagger. And with that, I will turn it back over to Ross and Shreya to walk you through some of the capabilities here.
Ian, thank you very much. Great explanation. Great explanation. And next, Shreya is going to talk to us a little bit about taxonomy tagging, and I'm going to control the slides. And Shreya, you just let me know when you want me to move.
Sure. Thank you so much. So I think Ross and Ian, you folks have already set up the right context, but any which ways, I'll first talk about the SPO offering of managed metadata, which we used to call it earlier, now called taxonomy, for decades now. So what SPO really offers is, SPO is that system of records where users just puts on documents endlessly, and more often than not, when we upload documents, the whole idea is to find it again. And that's where the idea of taxonomy came in, where information workers or information admins, business users, could actually create a hierarchical set of related keywords and club them together. And the keywords are also organization specific. So users can actually create term group. Within term group, there could be multiple term sets. Within term sets, there could be terms. And I think Ross will walk us through also the view of it. But I've just pasted a screenshot of a typical term store, how it really looks like, right? So once this term store is set up, any user who's uploading documents in SharePoint, or maybe creating a document, saving it back to SharePoint, once they tag these documents, it becomes searchable faster and easier, right? Now, all of this being said, I want to provide a little bit of context on what really was the problem that surfaced up when we really interviewed admins and users around taxonomy adoption and usage. They had just one complaint. They were like, hey, I can set up my term store well. I can use a partner like Wand, to import my taxonomy. But the problem is users don't tag documents. Like, how many times have we uploaded a document and have remembered to tag it? Because we don't see its immediate usefulness. The whole idea of tagging is if you tag it, you can search better next time. Uh, Today, if you go to LinkedIn or Facebook and you upload a post or create an image and just post it on Facebook, it's very easy to tag it. They make it very intuitive. The whole idea is if you tag it, people can search and find it faster, right? So with taxonomy, we are giving that information architecture with which user can define hierarchical sets of keywords. With taxonomy tagger, we are making it easy for this getting used in organization at scale. So Ross, can you just move on to the next slide where I talk about the aspects of taxonomy tagging? Yeah. So I think Ian also set the context. So taxonomy tagging essentially uses AI under the hood to parse through the document that users upload, extract the relevant keywords, and map it to the term set that is configured as a SharePoint column in that particular library. We don't want to randomly tag with keywords. We want to make sure it's organizational consistent. So we use AI and find the keywords, map it with the term set, and populate in the column. Now, once these tags are stored, imagine the next set of benefits. First, searching. Second, filtering and categorizing, creating custom views. And third, you could actually trigger business processes based on the keywords, right? For instance, if you find a keyword called environmental hazard, you want to send an email maybe to the operations team. This is really not possible if you just upload the document and let it be like that, right? So all of this kind of gets other direct benefits of using taxonomy tagging. Now, when would you use it? As I started with it, right? SharePoint being this intelligent system of records, whenever there are a lot of these flat list of documents in your library, and it's very difficult with those complex names of files to make any sense out of it, that's when you use tags, when you easily just want to find out the keywords of the document. You look at the library, and with the tags, you know what documents to click and see. Now, quickly touching upon the key functionalities, it's pretty cheap. It's 5 cents per document that we process. And with that, you can actually create up to 3 taxonomy tagger columns in your SharePoint libraries. We support the major content creation sources, that is PPT, DocX, and PDF. We essentially parse these files. We are bringing up more file format supports as well, but this is what we have started with. And most importantly, you don't need to train anything. It's just a toggle. You turn it on and it starts working, right? And as I just want to circle it out with the last word, that once you tag, you find, you manage your files better and smarter in your very busy SharePoint documents, right? So with that, I think I have talked enough. I just want to quickly show how do you really enable. So I think Ian started with the fact that if you have a valid SharePoint online license, you can easily turn on taxonomy tagging. I'll show you how you can do that. Ross, is it okay if I share my screen?
Please do.
All right. Let me know when the screen is visible.
It's coming.
Is my screen?
Yep, we
Okay.
see it. Yep, perfect.
Awesome.
We see setup.
All right. So this is the Microsoft 365 Admin Center, and I've gone to Setup, and I'll just quickly click Write Syntex, and I find Use Content AI with Microsoft Syntex. The only prerequisite for turning this on is you have to have an Azure subscription and you have connected it, right? So if you see here, you will find 2 tabs. Okay, and my network is slow. You go to Manage Billing, and you can see that we have already connected our resource group and Azure subscription. The moment you do that, the second box lights up, which is Manage Microsoft Syntex. And these are the whole host of products that Ian manages, and you can see here taxonomy tagging, right? Now, moment you click taxonomy tagging, we talk about what is a value proposition, and this is the setting that you need to turn on. which SharePoint sites should show the option to enable taxonomy tagging. You click on edit. We have three choices. No sites is basically you're turning it off, so to say. All sites is you just enable it for all sites. But remember, you just enabled it. I will show how can you actually, you enable the option to turn on taxonomy tagging in all sites. And you can, if you want some selected sites, maybe just marketing, finance, and HR, that's it. So you can just select those sites as well. And then there are no sites. So since it's my demo, I have marked as all sites and I've already saved the setting, and that is it. That's all that you need to do. I'll quickly go to a site in the same tenant and you would see moment you add a manage metadata column, here you go. You find this one toggle, automatically tag documents with terms. We are defaulted to yes, is just a toggle. So a regular column becomes a smart column with just this one toggle. You just need to fill in the name of the document, name of the column. You just need to configure a term set to this. You save the column and it's done. And quickly to show you, this is just one column that I already configured. Here you would notice this manage metadata column already has the automatically tagged documents with terms enabled. That's why these complex names of compete one, compete two, if you don't want to click it, just go to about and you know which company is this about. If you feel it's relevant, you click and read it, right? So this is this one taxonomy tagger column that I enabled. Like this, you can go to multiple libraries in all sites and turn on taxonomy tagger columns, right? With this, I'll just take a quick pause and I'll give it back to Ross.
That's terrific. Excellent, excellent, excellent. And let's see if I can figure out how to start this deck again.
Yep, we see your deck.
Very good. Shreya, that was terrific.
Thank you.
What we're going to do next, and I think Shreya's shown you a very, very good view of the taxonomy tagger in action. I'm going to show you another view of it, being very, very similar, but a little bit more extensively. And taxonomy term store in SharePoint, this is where the taxonomies reside. And we're going to show you how to set up a column for a library, give instructions to the taxonomy tagger, and we're going to look at some before and afters. Okay, what does a library look like before? What does it look like after? And what are the capabilities? What we developed in, what Microsoft, we're creating smart SharePoint libraries, smart libraries. And I want you to, think about that as we look at this. And I'm going to go back here and to look at another screen.
Yep, now we see your whole desktop. We can see your Chrome. Yep, perfect.
Okay, very good.
Yep.
So let's see here. The taxonomy term store is where the taxonomies reside in SharePoint. Now, what we've done is we've loaded in accounting taxonomies, automotive manufacturing, banking taxonomies, and an environmental taxonomy, climate change. This is what taxonomies look like. Remember, a hierarchical, okay, how we organize a domain of knowledge, environmental management, environmental organizations, facilities management, fleet management, insurance. So many, many different taxonomies because we have many, many different libraries in our company. So given this, what we're going to do is we are going to set up a library, an environmental library, and We're going to add a column, manage metadata column. We're going to call it environmental, because we're going to be using the environmental taxonomy. And we're going to go select the term set. Remember, here's our taxonomy term store. We're going to select the environmental taxonomy. Just that simple. And we're giving orders to the taxonomy tagger. We're in charge. I want you to automatically tag the documents with the terms. I could say no, but that's what I want you to do. And Mr. Taxonomy Tagger, I want you to tag it with just the terms, not the terms and the parents. We think about terms and the parents. If we think about parents of Denver, Colorado, United States, North America, all I want is Denver. Allow multiple values, yes or no. I save that. That took what? 3 minutes? Pretty simple. And now I'm going to upload documents. I am going to upload. This is my library. Just one moment here. Get to the right library. This is my library of environmental documents. I'm going to upload all of them.
Just while Ross uploads, I'll note that you can, of course, process documents that already exist in SharePoint, right? You don't have to upload new documents, but for demo purposes, it makes a lot of sense for us to just drag and drop in a bunch of new documents as we do the demo here. So let's get back over to Chrome. Yep, there's your environmental documents. Yep. Double click and select them all and add. Yep.
There
Perfect.
we go. Just that simple. I make it more complicated. Now this
Yep,
is what
here
the
come
library,
all the documents into SharePoint. Yep.
Now I've got all my documents in SharePoint. Now the taxonomy tagger, it can take 10 minutes to tag the document. Sometimes it'll take longer, but this is what it looks like before and after that same library has been tagged. This is what it looks like after. So the AI engine, taxonomy tagger, we told it to tag the documents, the environmental taxonomies, and all of these documents have been tagged. Some of these documents are 40, 50 pages long, okay, serious research documents. You know how long it takes for a human being to tag, okay, a 50-page document, and they get tired. So
Yep.
done is
when they get tired, they get, unfortunately, when we get tired, we maybe don't do as good of a job. So, if we were to assign someone to read every page of every document in this library and tag it, the first few probably do a good job, but then eventually you get kind of tired. You just pick a tag. Oh, was this about environmental? Was this about carbon dioxide? And it makes it hard to find those documents if they're tagged incorrectly and so forth. The robots don't get tired. Our AI doesn't get tired. It will continue to just faithfully read every document, get the summary, compare the summary to the tags that are available in the taxonomy, and apply the right tags over and over and over and over. And you can understand effectively why it did what it did. Whereas, when I ask Ross, hey, why did you tag this document greenhouse gas? There's nothing in it about greenhouse gas. Ross will say, oh, I'm sorry, I just made a mistake. I won't do it again, right? So it's more predictable, I guess, is the way to think of it.
Well,
Yep.
we've done experiments. If you take 2 domain experts and 100 documents, they look at the same 100 documents. they'll tag them differently. Okay, the AI engine is consistent, doesn't get tired. Now that we've tagged all the documents, let's do a little bit, remember we were talking a little bit about Amazon? These are all of the tags that were used by the AI engine, okay, from the environmental taxonomy. I didn't know we had documents about carbon neutrality, carbon offsetting. All of a sudden we're presented, okay, with all of the topics that are represented, whether we knew it or not, okay, in those documents. This provides the entire topography, the entire mapping of all of the terms, okay, regarding, maybe I'm interested, gee, I didn't know we had documents about Kyoto Protocol. So what I'm able to do, I'm able to select the taxonomy terms, apply them to that library, and now here are the documents, okay, that I filtered for the terms that I selected. So remember those, we had 550,000 shoes on Amazon? Well, now we're able to find the documents very, very quickly. Okay, concepts we never thought about, concepts we didn't know that we had information on. Example of an environmental library. Example, artificial intelligence. Again, we can filter and filter and filter and filter. Thank you. Sales and marketing. IT. What documents do we have here? Healthcare. Now, Shreya was talking about, okay, having two columns. Now here we tag these documents with medical administration and medical administration taxonomy, as well as the health insurance taxonomy. You can see the variety, automotive. And let's just, something we'll take a look. Cybersecurity. Boy, is that up top.
Yeah, as you show these examples, Ross, I think this really highlights what the partnership is about, right? Because Microsoft doesn't provide all these taxonomies out of the box, and you do. And so this is where we have the tagging service that can use your own taxonomy or a taxonomy that you get from Wand or one of our other partners, and allows you to then come in and tag your documents accordingly and do all this filtering and improve your search and improve your findability. Like, I didn't even know we had documents about phishing. I'm a security researcher. I didn't even know we had those documents, right? So I come in and I see phishing in the list, and I check the box and filter, and now I've got my documents about phishing. Of course, you could have searched. You could have searched the full text index that SharePoint provides, but this helps you understand what to even search for, right? Like sometimes you don't even know how to start, right? And you just look through the list and say, oh my gosh, I totally didn't know we had documents about VMware or WhatsApp or what have you. And you come in and you can kind of more serendipitously find these documents, right? It's so useful, especially for organizations that have a lot of untagged content that's just in doc libraries with name and date modified and so forth.
Exactly. This gives you the entire map of what you've got in that library based upon the topics. What is vishing?
Yeah.
Okay. What is smishing?
Yep.
Okay. And
Let's
I learned
find out,
that
right?
is when
You
somebody
filter.
calls you on the phone and says, "Hey, some of your bank account has been hacked." Okay, instead of phishing, they're doing it on a phone. Vocal. And here are the documents. Cybersecurity. Just one document that
Talks about that. Yep.
Okay. So cybersecurity. customer service. So the before is we had a library of a lot of documents. The after, we have an intelligent, smart library. We think that that's a big deal.
For sure.
Examples of taxonomies, and just talk. A lot of companies do have some taxonomies, but Wand, as I said, has been building taxonomies for a long time. Are you able to see the taxonomy portal now?
Yep, we see it. Yep.
So each one of our clients gets a username, a passcode, and we're able to go to the taxonomies here. This is the library. Browse the various taxonomies. Now, because there's so many of them, we group them into industry verticals. And got about 39 verticals: aerospace, electric, all the different utilities. And what we've enabled here, for financial services as an example, these are the taxonomies that will address all of the domains of knowledge for a financial services organization: banking, finance, and investment. Just to show you just real quickly what one of these looks like: 1,800 terms. These are the top level terms, so on and so forth. But a lot of banks have retail storefronts. Banks have libraries of real estate documents, insurance documents, managements, sales and marketing, human resources, all of the domains of knowledge for a financial services organization. What we want to be able to do is to provide to our clients all of the domains of knowledge, and then enabled, we can export that entire suite directly in to your term store. Takes about 2.5 hours, but I select a taxonomy group, and I'm not going to download this, but it takes about 2.5 hours, and the entire suite of taxonomies downloads into your term store, and you can begin to make libraries. Start to make those libraries. Going to go back to the slide deck. And again, why does it matter?
Yep, we see your slides. Looks good.
See, I apologize for being a little bit rusty.
Yep, slides look good. Yep, here we go.
This is probably one of the most interesting slides. If HP knew what HP knows, we would be 3 times more productive. This is a quotation from Lou Platt, the former CEO of HP. And what Lou Platt said is, we've got a tremendous amount of knowledge in our documents within our organization. Think about the documents within your organization, how much knowledge those represent. But if we can't find them, that knowledge is fast asleep. So what Lou wanted to do is to make sure that all that knowledge, was available. We wanted to be able to tag it. People could easily find it, not have to do without it, not have to recreate it, not have to recreate a sales presentation, for a financial services institution that Ian, put together, 3 months ago. If I could find that, make an adapt, it's going to save me a lot of time. Research, A lot of large companies have research organizations, all over the world, to be able to build upon research, not have to recreate it. If HP knew what HP knows, we'd be 3 times more productive. How it's going to affect you, your clients, It's huge. It's huge. And then this is a very interesting quote brought to my attention. I find that a great part of the information I have was acquired by looking up something and finding something else on the way. When we were looking at the terms in the cybersecurity library, I knew what I was looking for, but I didn't know, okay, what I didn't know. And by exposing all of the terminology, making it transparent for the user to be able to look at, it provides all kinds of additional pathways, okay, to find things that I didn't know we had.
Yep, like the vishing example. I had never heard of vishing until this exact demo here, Ross. I did not know that was coming. I heard of phishing, but I'd never heard of vishing before. And as we looked through, there was vishing, right? And then I like, oh, what is that? I can go read it, right? So such a just powerful thing to learn about these terms that are inside your documents. I know as we were preparing for the webinar, you used a good example of, books on a shelf, right? If you could look at a shelf of books and you could see the topics that are in each one of those books, it would make it much easier for you to decide which book to go read, right? The same exact concept here with the taxonomy tagger. You're looking at a folder full of documents and it's showing you all the topics that are in each one of those documents, the terms that are there from our taxonomy. And it helps you figure out, hey, this is the one that I want to go look at, right? I've never heard of that topic before. I want to learn more about that, right? All the use, to the HP quote. If HP knew what it really knew, we'd be so much more productive, right? That example of just you have information guaranteed inside of your SharePoint environment today that would help your employees make better decisions and do their jobs better, and they just can't find it. They don't even know what to look for, right? And this helps expose all that so that they can, find the right things, do their jobs better, be more productive, make better decisions. Just such an important combination of the taxonomy expertise that you all have with the AI that Syntex provides, bringing those two things together to, help folks organize their documents.
Ian, do you have any market research, okay, for product X that you provide for the UK market? Oh, gee whiz, you want to know something? I don't know if we do or not, but if I go to the library, I can see that, okay, there's been 3 market research, okay, studies on the UK market for that product.
Yep.
Okay.
I could filter by the
I can
market
filter.
research category and filter by the UK and see what I find, right? Exactly. Yep.
How much time does that save, number one? But how much additional capability does that provide for me, the user, that I can find it quickly and make decisions, okay, about the UK market? And find the people that authored, okay, that research on the UK market, okay? Talk to them and say, hey, Ross, you don't want to go there here for this, or this, but this is a big opportunity for our company.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do some questions and answers.
So many questions in the chat. Shreya and I have been answering questions here while we've been going, and your team also chimed in, right? There was a good question about the different taxonomies that one has, if there were ones related to government and document management taxonomies, and Shauna answered that one. Some questions about pricing. Again, the tagging service, there's really 2 components to this. There's the tagging service from Microsoft, and that charges you 5 cents per document, not per page. So if it's a long document, we charge you the same amount as if it's a short document. And then there's also the price to acquire the taxonomy or taxonomies from the team at Wand. And I won't speak to your pricing, Ross, but I think that's probably something that you and the team can address offline, perhaps.
Yeah, what we'll do is we'll send some follow-up information to everyone, and we're based upon we got a pricing model, but we want to come up with something a little bit different because of this great capability. And we'll get to you on that, and I think you'll find it very, very attractive. Other questions?
Yeah, I don't know that folks can use the microphone to come off of mute and ask questions live. I think microphones have been disabled, but I'll tell you what, I think I can enable them. And I think the folks running the webinar here from Juan can enable them. So if you raise your hand, I think we can enable your microphone. I think we can try that. So if anybody has a question they want to ask live, try that and we'll try enabling your microphone. But I see lots of questions around language support. So if you have a taxonomy in another language, will we tag it? I think the answer from our perspective is yes, right, Shreya? Like, we don't care what language the
Yes.
taxonomy is in, right? We'll tag it.
No,
Now,
you're right, Ian, but we have support for, I think, 7 languages, not all. The 7 tier 1 languages which is present in Microsoft support doc, we support those many languages.
yep, so that would be like English, French, Spanish. It's the tier 1
Right.
languages. Yep.
Right.
And
So
it's
Joyce,
Kay. Can you hear me? It's Kay
yeah,
Fair
hey, Kate.
from Juan.
Yep.
I have a couple of questions that people have put in the Q&A. Can you explain how synonyms of the core terms are handled? Russ, did you want to take that?
Yeah, sure. HR, some people call it HR, some people call it human resources, some people call it personnel. With the taxonomies and the way that the Syntex Taxonomy Tagger, it looks at all 3 concepts, and will tag the document with what is called the preferred term. So human resources would be the preferred term, HR a synonym. Some people, HR synonym. But that AI tagger is very, very smart. Shreya, did I answer that correctly?
Yes, Ross, you're right. We consider synonyms as well when we tag documents.
Awesome.
Okay,
really-
I have another question.
Yep.
What happens if I add or adjust a term in the taxonomy? Will, and if so, how will this affect the tagging that has already been done?
Shreya, Ian?
Yeah. So the documents that are already tagged, we don't touch them, which is how today also SharePoint works. But for new documents that get uploaded or existing documents that you edit, when we will retag, we will consider the updated term set only. Does that answer your question?
I think that's
I
the
think that
answer.
answers the question.
I believe so. And then here's another one. How perfect a term match should be between document entry and taxonomy terms for tagging to work? Especially, how do multiple word terms match?
Shreya,
Yeah. So I can take a stab at this. So we do consider multiple words as well. We have to ensure that we have good amount of synonyms also defined. I think the one that Ross gave an example of, human resources, HR, if all of these are defined as synonyms and then there is a term, we consider all of them. And it doesn't matter if it's multiple words too. We consider that as well while we match the keywords. Does that help?
No, very good.
Yep. Also in the chat here, Sander asked, what happens if somebody updates the document? Do we retag it? What does that cost, etc.?
Yes. For every edit of existing document, we process it again. And we do tag it again. So if you add maybe like 10 more paragraphs, we will process and we will tag with the updated content as well.
Yep. And when we run the tagging, it costs 5 cents, right? So in that event, we've tagged the first version that charged 5 cents. If you come in, you make a bunch of changes, you make a new version, we would tag that. That would be another 5 cents. So it is something to be aware of, obviously, from that perspective.
That's an interesting notion, 5 cents. I've got a 32-page document. 5 cents, you're going to tag that 32-page document?
Yep. Yep.
It's going to
And how
take
long would
me
it take you?
an
Like,
hour.
I can't even, maybe this is because I'm overpaid, but I can't even write like 3 or 4 words for a tag or for a couple of tags before it's cost Microsoft 5 cents, right? Like, maybe I'm too slow of a typist, right? But
But I,
this
I
is,
can't read. I can't read a 30-page document in less than 30 minutes, 40 minutes, 50 minutes,
yep,
depending. I mean, this
exactly.
is. I think it's extraordinary. It's extraordinary value. To expose. If it's a research document, now it can be found by researchers throughout my network, and could be somebody, a scientist that's working. I didn't know we had this research because we were going to have a project. It's going to be hundreds of thousands of dollars, okay, for this type of research. We've already done it.
Yep. Yep. Exactly. Exactly.
And
So
just to
Ross, I
add
think
one more point, you would also don't need to know your entire term set. You don't need to know what terms are there in the term set. It's going to get automatically tagged. So this whole thing gets very easy for you. You don't need to know HR is being called human resources. You will automatically find that in the taxonomy tagger column.
Yep. Yep. Great point. Great point. Because if you're manually tagging, you got to have an idea in your head, right, of what the available tags are. But the AI again can just do that, right? So yeah. So Ross, I think we need to move to next steps. We've got 5 minutes to go. We want to be respectful of everybody's time here. Yeah. How do they learn more? How did they get in touch with you all?
Yeah, what I was going to, we just because we, when we say easy as 1, 2, 3, it's easy as 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to say to everybody on this call, give this a, enable your taxonomy tagger. We watched Shreya do it in about 15 seconds, 30 seconds. Set up a column for one of your libraries. Select the taxonomy from your term store for the tagger to automatically use, and then enjoy the new dimension of taxonomy-driven search. But I'm suggesting next steps for everybody on this call, give it a shot, give it a try. You'll have some fun with it, and you'll see your SharePoint library becomes a smart library. For more information about our taxonomies, please visit our website and click on Contact Us, and a member of our team will reach out before the end of the week. And I just want to, Ian, what Shreya, other comments before we move it forward?
Yeah, I think one last question that's a good one from Charles. All of this, the actual billing for this, you set up Microsoft 365 when you set up Syntex billing, it uses your Azure billing account. So you'll see the charges actually show up on your Azure statement. They're labeled with Syntex Taxonomy tagging. Very clean, easy to see. You can also use what's called Microsoft Cost Management to see the charges as they're coming, so you don't have to wait until the end of the month and then get a surprise. So you could turn this on in Microsoft Cost Management. You could set an alert to alert me after I spend $10, right, which would be tagging a couple hundred documents at that stage of the game. You'll get an alert. You can turn it on, turn it off, manage the capabilities there. So we'll share some more information on this, on how that works. But we don't want to surprise anyone here with a bill. So yeah.
Other questions, comments? I think we're at time.
Yep, we are at time. Yep. Great job, everybody, and we're excited to, hear from everyone. I'll put my email in the chat. Ross, I know you've got contact here for folks. We also put Shreya's email in the chat as far as, following up on a couple specifics. Like one person didn't see this option in their admin, so we'll follow up on that. But any follow up we can do, happy to do it.
Again, thank you very, very much. This is the first look, and we just may do a second look in a month or two. But thank you very, very much, everyone. Have a great day, and please, you'd like to visit our website, if you'd like us to contact you, we would be delighted to do it. And I wish everybody a wonderful day.
Thanks, y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you
Bye-bye.
so much. Bye-bye.
Thank you.